waited for this beautiful A plus setup, which is to break again above this 584.20, and this is where I go long. Hello, this is Chad from American Dream Trading. I wanted to go over a couple of my favorite trades with you guys. So in this first example, I wanted to show you based off of a 1 minute time frame. So I'm going to be scalping off the 1 minute. Now, one of my favorite trades that I love to set up for, this is an A plus setup, is called a double top pullback. So what you guys are looking for is you're looking for either a pre-market high or a previous day high, something that you can go back in time and look at to see where it's going to form a double top. Now, in this instance, you can see that it actually happened during the regular market hours, and we were able to take advantage of this. So if you look right here, you can see this topped out at around 584.19. That's right here at the very top of this wick on the 1 minute candle. You can see then that it pulled back. It ran all the way until it got to around 10:05. So around 10:05. Now, why do I want to look at 10:05? Why does this look like a double top pullback to me? Well, because SPY around 584, the dollar amount that it is, this means that it can actually fluctuate between around 20 to 30 to sometimes 40 cents. So what do I mean by that? Well, the fact that it's up here at 584.19 means that in theory, if that's the case, this could potentially pull back to around 583.90 to start to tell you that this is actually the top. It doesn't have to necessarily get all the way back up, right, to 584.19, but it can be around that range. And technically 584.19 is around 584. So same thing with this, technically around this 583.95, which is where it went, is technically, right, 584. So we're looking for a double top around 584, and that's what this is doing right here. So what happened is it came all the way back. It hit the double top. This is where I will typically buy into puts because I love this in this spot, or I can short if you have a margin account and you want to do shares versus options. So this is what I call a double top pullback. So I love this spot. So it hits the double top, I enter my puts or I short. You can see it drove all the way back down through. It broke through the 9, it broke through the 21, and it bounced on VWAP. So this is where I will sell out these positions because it could not hold and break below VWAP. The volume weighted average price I use as a primary indicator. If it's above it, that's bullish, meaning we want to go long. If it's below it, it's bearish, meaning we want to short below that. So it bounced, it stayed above it, I get out of that trade. Now, there's a second trade that's a beautiful setup inside of this, and again, we did this live. So what you can see is, you can see that this formed a cup and handle. So here's your cup into the handle, then it bounced back up. Okay, so this is bullish, a cup and handle is bullish, meaning it came back to previous area of resistance. So what are we looking for again? Okay, we're looking back up here again around this 584 range. Okay, if it breaks through the 584 range this time and stays above, then we will want to look at longing it. Now what we're looking for is after it breaks through, we're looking for a pullback. Okay, because typically the first time it breaks through that major level of resistance, it will want to pull back. So what do I mean by that? If you look right here, right on this candle, it actually broke through, came back, and it is now down here retesting what was once resistance at 584.19 is now become support. And it stayed above this support level and stayed above the 9 and ran. So now this is an opportunity to go long. Now, when I go long on my 1 minutes, because everybody asks me, well, how do I stay in it? How do I keep my head in the game? How do I not freak out on all these little moves? Now that I'm in my trade and it's moving to where I need to go, and by the way, when I have my stop would be just below this 583.95-ish, right around this area below 594. So if you're looking at where does my stop go after I enter it, it's going to be, remember, below this support level. That way, if it does knife drop through, I'm always protected, always have your stops in place. But now that I'm in the trade, instead of looking at the 1 minute, I'm going to flip to a 5 minute. Now remember, we've converted a 1 minute scalp. Okay, so we've gone from a 1 minute over to a 5 minute. So this is what we're looking for now. So now in this trade, if we look at the 5 minute versus the 1 minute, we want to make sure it stays above the 9. The 9 is this white line right here. This is the EMA, the 9 EMA. I use this for scalping, and that way I can allow this to run. Now you'll also notice I have the 21 on here, okay? The 21 is my purple line. If it breaks through my 21, for me, this is a major level of indicator that's telling me this is not staying inside of the range I want to be in. So let's look at this trade overall. So I got in the trade down here. I flip to my 5 minute. You can see it stays above the 9 EMA. We start to get heavy right up in here around this 12:35 all the way to 1 o'clock right in here. Now, this breaks through my 9 EMA and holds. This is where I will start to shed, all right? So we can either shed when it pulls back to the 9. So you can see here, here, and these, right? You could shed when it does that, or you could wait till it comes down to the 21. Okay, so you could shed in this area right here. But as soon as this breaks below the 21 and holds, I'm out. I'm completely out of this position, okay? So right here, meaning this is where I would kill this position. Somewhere around this 593 would be the absolute end all for me. I don't want to be in this trade anymore. Now, my rule is on pullbacks, I like to shed. And what do I mean by that? I mean, once it pulls back, then I want to take profits. Now, this did not pull back. This went flat, okay? This pulled back. So this right here is a pullback. So if I had 10 contracts, I'll pull 50% off. If I have 100 shares, I'll pull 50 shares off. I do 50%, 20%, 20%, 10%, allow the last ones to run. But in this case, this would be my first pullback. There's 50%, okay? This is my next pullback. There's 20 more percent. I have 30% left. And then right here is where it showed me it went completely out. So in this case, I'm just completely out of the trade. But you can see, excellent trade overall. You should have made a lot of money on that one. Remember, we first made our money on the double top pullback down to VWAP, turned into a cup and handle. I rode that right back up. I could have either bounced it on the scalp off of VWAP or waited for this beautiful A+ setup, which is to break again above this 584.20. And this is where I go long, entering and allow it to run all the way up that 9 until you see it start to fight in the 21. And if you look at it, it crossed back over down here and it never came back. So hope you guys enjoyed that trade. If you would, make sure you go to americandreamtrading.com, get signed up. We've got free Discords, a free Discord server you guys can get on, and some paid memberships where we train you all day long.
Welcome to the Aftermarket. American Dream Trading. You have entered the Aftermarket. AmericanDreamTrading.com. Welcome. You are now in the Aftermarket.
I hadn't clicked myself on. Welcome, guys, to American Dream Trading's The Aftermarket Live Chat and Watch Party. I am Dawn, aka J&J Video Reacts, and this is a stream that's been created for you, traders, to just kick back, relax, and decompress after the market. One drink. Got to make sure I don't have blueberries stuck in my teeth, you know what I mean? Hopefully everybody had a green day today. What about SPY and Tesla at the end there, huh? What the hell was going on? All right, I need some tunes. What was going on with Tesla? Look, shout out to Palmco, shout out to Nate, because they crushed it at the end of the day. That was amazing. Those were the main two I heard. If anybody else crushed it, Matt Tech, any of you guys, let me know, because oh my goodness, that was amazing to just watch. I mean, those stocks just dumped. They just dumped at the end of the day, right? What the hell went on with that? And then somebody was speaking. So what about that knife drop in the middle of the day, right? Wow. So American Dream Trading, what is it? It is a trading group that was formed by Chad W. Christian, who's a 32-year stock market vet. He has literally taught us how to trade in every market condition imaginable. Why? Because that's what he's done. All right. So shout out to you, Coach. Thank you for coming and letting us hang out on your YouTube, your Twitch, your X, your TikTok, your Facebook, all of that good stuff. Welcome all of you guys. And I see you guys down there in the chat, F2 and Bucko and Maria and James L, DJ Vinny, I think I saw down there. Welcome, guys. What is up? Did I hear Chris D in the chat towards the end of the day? Was that Chris D? I think it was, because I think he was in the live chat over here. Shout out to Mark McC. Mark McC had me over there on Futures this afternoon and allowed me to promote the aftermarket. That was really cool, Mark. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And keep crushing it. Mark is absolutely killing it over in Futures. If you have not gotten a chance to join the Futures, listen, code 2025, right? Use code 2025 and get 25% off of a Futures membership if you decide to join. It's a first-time purchase, though. So if you're already a member, don't try to cancel and go back in and get a discount. This is for first-time purchases only, and it renews at the regular rate. So if you want to join or take advantage of any of our services, use code 2025 by clicking that link that is pinned to the top of the live chat. It is AmericanDreamTrading.com. Right? Save 25% off of any purchase of any of our services. So not only is that link posted in there, we've also got a, hey, want to join the stream? Come on. Right? We've got a stream link down there. Come on up here and join the panel. Please make sure you guys are smashing that like button. I saw about 20 people in here, but only like 6 or 7 likes. So just go ahead and smash that like button for me. It's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Make sure you're sharing the video. Make sure you are subscribing if you're not already subscribed, right? All of that is free. Doesn't cost you a dime. So what are we talking about tonight? All right. Oh, last but not least, yours truly's tip jar. If you want to tip the host, go ahead and throw something in there for me. It helps me keep the lights on. It's part of my income. And it is, while it's not mandatory, it is much appreciated. It really is. Especially this week. What is a POS sensor? Whatever it is, we have a 2020 Nissan Kicks, and already a car repair 5 years in, brand new off the lot. I mean, I know 5 years, a lot can happen, especially when you live by the ocean. It's stuff happens, rust, all that good stuff. But yeah, $350 car repair, smack. We didn't think we'd have to deal with that for a while, especially being a Nissan and all. But you know, you live near the salt air, things happen. So yeah, had to deal with that. So throw a little something in a tip jar and help offset that for me, would you? Yeah, that was not fun. We found that out today. Thought it was going to be an alternator, something quick, right? Because you know how because we had an issue with a dead battery a while back, so we've been dealing with weird issues. But it turns out the battery wasn't dead; it was just a little off for a second. Charged the car up. Had AAA or Geico, one of them, come out, charge it up, let it run. Went to Baltimore and back a couple times. Everything's all good. I'm thinking, it cut off in the middle of Jen driving. I'm thinking, okay, that's an alternator thing. Alternators do that. And I'm like, when the battery had its moment, did that mess up the alternator? But no, it's a POS sensor. So I don't know. I know it costs $350, but that's life though, right? That's life. We are only allowed to cry about it for 5 minutes. Actually, I was done crying about it hours ago. So it happens. Shit happens. But luckily we have a great mechanic. Shout out to Jay. Yes, Jay. Junior's Automotive. Free press. It's not gonna, yeah. Anyway. Guys, so yeah, that's what's happening. But VWAP. And the cool thing is that is a fresh new video that I played. I believe that is a fresh new. Well, no, but you know what? You learn something every day when you watch these videos. I saw stuff in that video that time that I hadn't seen the first 2-3 times I watched it. So that's why it's so cool that we have all these videos over here on YouTube, and we do watch parties on Saturdays sometimes so that you guys can just, kick back. We can discuss them. We can go over some trades that you see in them, some things that are happening. And it's a lot better than watching them by yourself. That way, if you have questions and you don't understand something, you can ask, right? But it just so happens we did EMAs last night, and Coach talked about the EMAs in that video, and he talked about VWAP. So, getting into the meat and potatoes of it. All right, what is VWAP, right? What is it? Somebody hit me off down in the chat. Future Trader, I see you, buddy. Papa Todd's down there. Hey, Papa. Maria, Joe Pink, Issy A, James L, F2. What up, people? Enrique Moreno, Leonard Jones, Steve Can. What's up?
Hey, Dawn. See, someone said the Restream link wasn't working.
Okay, I'll put it in there again. Thank you. Jen said somebody said the Restream link isn't working. Thank you to Vegan Knowledge, our newest member. Thank you, sweetie. I will revisit. Gilly, what's up, buddy? Gilly's not even feeling well, and he's in here. Thank you, Gilly. Palm Coast is down there. What up, Palm Coast? Okay, Palm Coast is saying that. Yeah, let me try reposting that, Palm. Hold on 1 second. Give me 2 seconds here. All right. I know, no dead air, Coach. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and click that. And we'll click here. Okay. Let's try this again. Stream link has been reposted. Hopefully that works for you. What is VWAP? We should all know the answer to that one. VWAP is the volume weighted average price, right? It's the volume weighted average price. Listen, the cool thing is it's basically a trading benchmark, right? that represents the average price that a stock has traded at some point throughout the day, right? And it's based on both volume and price, right? So it's really used by a lot of traders to basically see what's going on with the current price, assess it. You know what I mean? They assess the trend. They use it to make decisions about whether to go north or go south with the trade. So it is the volume weighted average price. All right, I think I heard Palm come in. Hold on. Hello, how art thou?
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Long day today.
It really was. I know one thing. You guys crushed it at the end, though.
That was exciting. That was an exciting finish for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen a more perfectly stair-stepped downtrend.
That was crazy. I mean, look computer driven, didn't it?
It did, because there was hardly any pullback, like just red.
Yeah, it would stall just a little bit, and then they'd knock it down. It'd stall a little bit, they knock it down. It seemed very intentional.
It did. Well, you mentioned that it might be institutional, huh?
It definitely has
Was that
something
you
to do with it.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, none of us have the kind of money it takes to move that, right?
Right. Especially those stocks, SPY and Tesla. Come on.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Everything was going down though. F. Is that F?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes. How are you guys?
What's up, man?
How you been?
Been doing good. Working a lot at the 9 to 5, trading a little bit. I did looking to open up a futures account. I don't know if I'll act on it or not, but been watching a lot of futures videos. So
I'm tossing it around too, F. Mark is very persuasive, and especially seeing the success that he has. Now, I'm not chasing the shiny new penny, but yet I feel like I am. And I have still some work to do with stocks. But, oh, by the way, I've been trading TSLL, or at least trying to.
I did that today too.
You did?
Yep. Yeah, when we got into double bottom territory, I loaded up on TSLL actually.
it works.
Yeah,
it does.
I will have to say that's probably one of my favorites. It's cheap enough for me, and it has that movement and stuff that you can make a good penny on it, and still react enough to still learn and get in and out with it. So that's why I enjoy it, and then the price is still comfortable. So
right.
It's crazy. It moves at least $1 a day. Like, even if it goes down in bottoms, it usually rebounds at least $1, doesn't it? That's crazy. I mean, you think about what 30 days, I mean, if you got 50,000 in a trading account and you're hitting $35,000, you're going in for 1,000 shares, and you make a grand on it every day.
I mean,
you can double your portfolio in 6 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So tonight's topic is, what is VWAP, and how are traders using it to help them determine how to make trades, how to make good trades.
VWAP, what's that?
Well,
funny you should ask. I know you just put up the slide. I got it. I was just jumbling around. I'm sorry, I'm late to the party tonight, but
we were looking at some stuff this morning, and the funny thing is, lately in the pre-market, Nate has been training us on this strategy where we need to be aware of the 9 being under VWAP. And, a lot of those penny stocks tend to be pop and drops. Well, we noticed, or Nate noticed, and he pointed it out to us. So now we're like calling it out. Be careful, because the 9 is under VWAP, and, more often than not, it turns out to be a really quick scalp. It doesn't run. He's absolutely right. If it's under VWAP, it's to the downside, technically.
Still, yeah, it gets trapped. Yep.
So we've been doing that, and we've been, kind of watching our tails and making sure we're in and out, and really don't look for anything to run considerably until everything gets over VWAP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. That 9 can even come up a little bit over, but
Mhm.
if it doesn't bring the 21 with it, then or it stays kind of hanging in the same zone. It's like, or if it's still below, like you said,
Yeah.
you'll see it like tries to get up there, but it just can't hang on. It goes up, it sits there for a second, pulls back, and
Yep. That's one of the
crazy.
first lessons I remember Coach teaching, 2 years ago. And he was like, if a stock is riding VWAP, unless you're an excellent scalper or a channel trader, and it's a tight channel, you don't want to mess with it, especially if you're brand new. Because that means it basically can't make up its mind. That's straddle territory, and if you're brand new, you don't really know what a straddle is. So anything that's riding VWAP tends to be, pretty stagnant, unless of course you're like a palm here who can basically trade it up and down, probably each candle. Have you ever done that
I haven't
at
traded.
VWAP?
Oh, I've scalped. Yeah, I shouldn't even admit it, but I do scalp around VWAP a bunch. So, but I'm in it for like a minute, sometimes less. So if it develops a consolidation around there and it's in a channel, I'll
Mhm.
trade that channel as long as the channel's got some good distance between it.
Yeah.
But if it's just too tight and it's just kind of wandering aimlessly around there, then no. That sometimes it just channels around there, and then you just keep then you go.
Yeah. Nothing much is happening.
Yeah,
But
I'll just set it like a strangle, both sides,
Mhm.
and when it gets up to the whole thing calls on support, puts on resistance. But at some point you got to be prepared for it to stick one side or the other and begin to break one way or the other. So if it's too tight, then I just wait for it to make a decision.
Yeah. How do you use VWAP F2?
When it's above it and stuff, use it as like a baseline. I pay attention more to like the EOMA, like the 9 and stuff, the EOMA that just mentioned and everything. But
Mhm.
using it as like my support resistance and things like that. So if that
Yep.
makes sense, I don't.
It does. It
Yeah.
does, because I do it too. It's like if a stock that I'm in is under VWAP and I'm in it to the downside and it does a pullback of some sort, unless it basically crosses over VWAP, I kind of hang out in it. I stay in it, And if it goes over VWAP, that's my signal to get out, because coach trains us when something is under VWAP, usually it's to the downside because it's under the average price that the stock has been trading at for the day. So it's to the downside. So, and if it goes over that, chances are, unless it retraces and comes right back and stays down, chances are it's going to go to the upside. But usually it takes a lot of volume, doesn't it, Palm, to kind of push up, especially if it's way, way down, to get up and then over VWAP. Usually you'll find a stock will get the VWAP and it'll bounce back to the downside.
Yeah, it's definitely the strongest support and resistance other than a double top. I would say a double top is the strongest. VWAP's probably right there with it, and then double bottoms as far as like lines of support and resistance. So yeah, if you get something that's on it's a really nice volatile start for the day, it has a little bit of a pop to the upside, comes back and kind of just does its little recheck, tag the base at VWAP, and before it continues its run. That's a great low risk, high reward setup, and I'll buy those every single time, because if it dips out a little bit, no big deal. My stop gets broken, then I flip into puts or something. But yeah, it's a great pivot point. And by the same token, if you're following something from let's say 921 crosses in your favor, from much farther up, and it's coming down from a much higher point,
Yeah.
then I'll sell off into VWAP, as it touches it, and because I know it's going to bounce off there too. So sometimes what I'll do, if it's looking like a right setup, and I'll go right into, like if it's coming down from the top, if I'm in puts, coming back toward, then I'll flip right into calls for that short bounce. But but I'll definitely always sell off into VWAP every single time because if it continues on, I can just re-enter. No big deal.
Yeah.
But if it rejects, especially, so if stock's been down for a long time and just kind of coming back up to VWAP and then it's going to collapse again, I'll sell off into it every single time because no matter what happens from there, I can re-enter it up or down. But at least I've captured the profit there, and I don't have to sit there and wait watching my margin, watching my P&L go up and down while it figures out if it's going to retest it or not. So anytime I get into a play that goes into VWAP, I sell off into it immediately because I can always pick it up on the other side, or I can, I can always make another play from there.
That's a good excellent strategy. And wow. Okay, so once it gets to VWAP, you go ahead and sell off, and then if it goes back down, you just get back in. If it breaks it, then you just get into the upside.
Well, let's say that I don't know, stock goes up and it's $1.50 above VWAP or whatever it is. It comes back down to VWAP because now it's going on, like, I don't know, it's like a half an hour into the trading day or something like that. If we get a nice brisk pull back to it and I'm in puts, then I'll sell off right into VWAP because I don't want to sit there waiting for it to figure out what it's going to do. I just want to be able to capture that profit and then follow it whatever it's going to do.
So when a stock's going down, right? Well, as far as Tesla and SPY went, you wouldn't as soon as it starts heading back up, that's when you would sell off, right? You wouldn't wait for that to go all the way back up to VWAP because you're giving up too much real estate, right?
You're talking about something that's down, like
that was, yeah.
So if it's coming from the downside, then I'll sell off right into VWAP, and then I expect a pullback. So quite often, then I'll flip into puts, just because I know it's going to bounce back, and just a little bit at least. So it depends on how far the pull, how much of a pull it gets. So I'll capture the best of that touch of VWAP, and then I'll go right into puts because I'm expecting it to bounce to the downside. Now it's another thing if it's got some massive gamma candle, it's just crushing its way across. But if it's trading somewhat normal, I'm expecting it to bump its head on it, pull back, and then possibly recheck it. So that way I've captured the profit up to it, and I've captured the profit away from it. Now I don't care what it does. It can sit there and channel for a little while, and I've already captured the profit up to it, and I've captured the profit away from it. So if it sits there and kind of wanders aimlessly around VWAP for a little bit, I won't care because I've already captured the money from it. If it goes up, I'll enter to the upside, put my stop just a little bit below, But I like capturing the profit to the point you want it to be, and I don't mind exiting a trade and re-entering, if it continues further.
Nate was talking to us about that one morning where he was like, when we hear double bottoms, a lot of times we're leaving money on the table because I know this is what I was doing. We were waiting for it to break and hold over VWAP or over the level instead of getting the money on the way up to it, like you literally just said.
Yeah, like on double tops, that's my favorite play ever because usually, I'm following it up into that double top. So as soon as it gets up into that, there's usually a nice push up into that double top territory. So I'll capture that gamma into it, and then immediately flip into puts. And and then because that's usually one of the strongest formations, right? Every single time I just call it a gamma flip. I'll try to sell off in the big gamma candle that goes up into it, and because people are buying up the calls faster than what they're really worth a little bit. And then by the same token, people are getting rid of the puts. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cough.
Oh, I'm like, was it just me? I'm like, did I go? The only thing that made me know I wasn't deaf was I could still hear the music.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So
no, you're good.
But then I'll capture those puts at a compressed price too.
Thanks for coming on here, being sick and everything. Oh man. You, Gilly, I feel like I should be like sending you guys some medicine or something. Are you gonna do futures at all? Are you thinking about it at all?
I'm thinking about it. I kind of got my hands full with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Mark
So
is
just
killing it over there.
he is for him. That's really opened up his world. And if somebody's been on the struggle bus with some stocks, that may be a thing for them too.
Mm-hmm. Never know. Never know. Got to fund that account though. I'm gonna mess with it with some paper trading, for sure. Uh-oh. Where'd my YouTube go? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the most important thing is anytime you're venturing into something,
Mm-hmm.
I will not use cash for a considerable period of time. I will paper trade the shit out of it. I will test things. I will take things further than they should go. But I'm gonna do it all with paper, and it costs me a dime. I
There
want to
you
see
go.
how
I
things.
mean, he did it for like 3 weeks and killed it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just a better fit. I know he's done fine with stocks forever, but man, futures just woke him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally just rocked his world. So
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be the same thing. Justin's take. What's up, Justin? He said, I trade VWAP and the MA200. It's the truth. I think DJ Vinny, I think I saw him down there. Vinny talks about the 200 a lot. I know he trades off of that a lot. What do you think about the 200, Palm? Do you give it as much weight as VWAP?
yes, it's like a second VWAP. So it
Yeah.
depends on what you're trading too, because some securities just don't even care that it's there. I mean, it's kind of they're just very disrespectful of it. So the majority of the stocks actually do respect it, though.
You ever watch VWAP F2, like watch the 200 or trade off of it or let it affect your trades?
No, I've just now, recently learned how to use the EMAs and stuff like that. We'll keep my charts a little simple. That I got enough lines on it right now, so.
I don't blame you. The less the better. Less is more, right? I do not blame you. Vegan Knowledge says no medicine. The detox is what? Is the body clearing out from your Dr. JJ? Lemon and ginger. Oh yeah, lemon and ginger. Listen, we live by that in here.
Really?
Yeah. We'll cut up a couple of pieces of ginger and skin them, chop them up, dice them into little pieces. Take a piece of lemon wedge, and I pull the lemon away from the wedge because I don't want the wedge in the water with all the shit that they spray on fruit nowadays. So, and just let that marinate for a couple hours. Make like a couple of them. Just throw it all in a bottle of water, let it marinate for a couple hours, and drink a couple of those down.
Huh.
And I'm telling you, Palm, it'll pretty much knock anything out.
Lemon and ginger water. That's
Very,
interesting.
very
I even have some fresh ginger for cooking and stuff, so I'm gonna give it a shot.
You like add bourbon or anything like that, vodka or anything in with it?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I have ginger with my sushi and then lemon in my cocktail?
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely ginger with the. Oh my god, I always get extra ginger with my sushi.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I love
that.
pickled ginger. I pile it. I'm like, you have to bring me a big old side plate of that.
Oh yeah. Pickled ginger, got the wasabi going. Oh but yeah. Especially when you do what I'm doing with the fasting and only eating your fruits. Oh, I had some wasabi last week. I had just a little bit too much of it. Woo! You turn around, somebody's head felt like it was going to explode because remember, my palate is like clean and I'm not eating a bunch of salt and sugar and stuff. So anything that's super strong, I like taste it times 10.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that was crazy.
Real stuff is powerful.
Yes. Oh. And we don't get the real stuff in the Chinese restaurant. I mean, real stuff
it's green. It's food colored horseradish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which if fresh horseradish is still knock your socks off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's some hot stuff. DJ Vinny, what is going on? Bucko 504, MA200, crossing over VWAP. What is it? Crossing over VWAP can get exciting. What is that? I've heard Vinny talk about that. So, like when the 200 crosses over VWAP, like what's the big deal with that? Does that mean that if a stock is over that situation, it's gonna like skyrocket or something?
Well,
Have you noticed that?
initially when it's right at it, it's like a super tough level of support or resistance, and then it
Yeah.
depends on which way it crosses and what time frame, of course.
Because I'm like, does it matter if VWAP is over the 200 versus the 200 is over VWAP? I get confused with that.
You know what? It's usually often so far away from it that it just winds up being a second VWAP. So with the two converging is
When they
isn't
get
usually
close.
that big of a deal. I mean,
Yeah.
it can kind of lend itself to channels or a certain direction, but it doesn't always turn out to be everything.
Gotcha.
Usually it's just a kind of a strangle point away from VWAP.
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember I can't remember what stock it was now, but I traded something a long time ago. This is right around when I first started, and I was learning the EMAs and the MAs and all of that. And I remember it got through everything but the 200, and I'll be damned. I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to the moon. And when it got to the I remember it was David. David was talking to me that day. This was when he was interacting on the call a little bit more. And yeah, it got to the 200 and ricocheted right back down. And I was, ever since then, I have completely respected the 200. Like if the stock doesn't go over it, I'm like, I gotta wait for the 200. But it doesn't always work out like that. But yeah, it got me that day. So it left a lasting impression.
Yeah, I would say I use that one probably the least. It's just usually so far away from what I'm doing, but occasionally it collides.
Mm-hmm. All right. Shout out to Nick A telling you to drink plenty of water. Yep. That's what we were just telling them. Throw some lemon and ginger in there as well.
We got a couple fans of blackberry brandy in there. I like that too.
Blackberry brandy. Of course, Gilly's going to say that. Jamie, what's going on? Jamie Klinghagen. I love that. That's a really cool last name. Blackberry brandy cleans things out of your system too. Everybody's got the blackberry brandy going on. Great minds.
Goes good with ice cream too.
Blackberry. Oh wow. Gilly, you need to be drinking that too. Get that lemon and ginger in your life, man. For sure. Great job, Jamie. All right. Did you see that video I played with Coach? Those videos have been sick lately.
No, I came in a little late.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of watch parties lately, or at least a couple of them. It's been pretty cool. Jen joined the group yesterday. Were you here?
Yesterday?
Yep.
No, I was out in the afternoon.
Yep, she got all signed up. She's a legit member now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
We were doing replays on replays on TradingView last weekend. She's pretty good. She had some pretty good instincts. I was like, okay, look at you. She's like, well, wouldn't you do this because it's under the 9 or it's over the 9? I'm like, look at you. You know? So she's been paying attention. Leonard Jones says, hello, Dawn and ADT team. What's up? Hey, Vinny, why don't you come on up here and talk about that crossover you're always talking about? Joe Pink said Pico's in the house. Yes, Pico's, even being sick, is in the house. He's that dedicated here. He's so awesome. Lord Bartos, welcome. Shaking the fleas off the dog. Nick A said contracts are so wild too. They be going crazy if a good move reverses back to VWAP. Yeah, see, that's the only thing, and you got like the gamma and the delta there, like that's what actually makes it so hard to regain your position if it goes down too much on an option, right? That's the delta and the gamma, right, Paul?
I'm sorry.
The delta and the gamma is what you have to like make up when an option goes down and it doesn't, if it comes right back to the point where you were at, but you're still down. That's because of the gamma and the delta, right?
If it's going against you, it can be very difficult to make up.
Yeah. See, that's why you got to do stocks, especially if you're brand new.
The funny thing is, I'm often not in them for that long, though.
Yeah, you're quick. You're quick. You and Nate both. You guys are in and out of this stuff. That's another thing. I think that's what another thing that's so attractive about scalping is you don't have to deal with a lot of the, FOMO and all of that. You just get out and get back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'll write a pattern, but a half hour is a long time. An hour is an eternity. An hour and a half. I can't remember last time I was. I'll be in a trade. I'll be in shares for an hour and a half, but contracts rarely even a half an hour. Usually it's 5 to 10 minutes at the most. So
depending on the run.
Yeah. Dependent on the run. And then when it really starts to run, like Spy did to the downside earlier, it's just a matter of sitting there and watching those candles develop. Because like in the 2 minute, those were just red over red over red over red. And even if you shifted to 1 minute, there was just like a pause where just a little bit of green splintered in there, but that was just nonstop to the basement. That was ridiculous. I actually originated in a scalp off of the top of that channel, and that was the one that really just continued to take off for me with those 20 cent contracts.
The 20-cent contract, I still can't get over that. And they went to $1. What? Well, no, they ended up with like $2.80 something cents.
Yeah. I market sold 50 of them at 283, and most of them sold off at like 81, 80, 79, 78. But still, it was ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Because you got to kind of buy a chunk of them in order to make it worthwhile. But that was just such a tight pattern. I really didn't want to load up or nothing. But it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, what the hell? And I actually did exit it partway through, and then regain, and then went back in when it broke.
Wow. See, that's if you got a decent account size, it's well worth it to just do that. I see why you guys trade stress free, because why sit in it if you can just go right back in it?
Yeah, I don't want to think about things that long.
Palm's like, that's a little bit too heavy.
Well, shares I don't mind, because I'm not worried about shares necessarily blowing out. So especially TSLL and TSLQ, man, I love throwing those in the background while I'm trading. I'll keep rotating back to those. Even if I'm trading Tesla options, I'll still buy TSL and TSLQ when the double tops and double bottoms come, because I can just
leverage.
Yeah, well, no, I can just let them sit there and marinate, at a much lower cost and a higher number of shares, and then by the time it reaches a target point, then dump the shares and move on. So I'm actually making making money from the TSLL or the TSLQ while I'm making money with the options, and it's just kind of a nice way of doubling up.
Oh, that's sick. You hear that? I started to call you Future. You hear that, F2? It's a pretty good strategy. Wait till your account size gets to where you're doing multiple trades all wrapped up into one like that.
I
You'll be doing
I
it.
draw the limit at like 3 trades. I usually can't focus on more than 3. One, if I'm in a really large position, I don't do nothing else. But otherwise, and if I do, it's going to be shares. But typically, if I'm in moderate size, I can manage 3 at a time.
We were talking about that earlier, getting in one trade at a time. Sometimes I can do it, and again, it depends on, like you said, if I'm in a little bit of a larger position, there's no way I'm doing more than one. But a lot of times in the morning, I'll see what's going on with the penny stocks, and if it's some of them that have like really good volume and like a low float, I'll dip a Danny DeVito on like 2 or 3 of them, and then see if something like takes off and just scrap the other 2, or sometimes all 3 of them will be running. I'll just look at my positions and make sure they're still running. But that's the only way I do that. Other than that, one at a time. One at a time. This on the screen here is HSDT, Helios Med. I don't know if there's any news on it, but it was running a little bit in the aftermarket over there.
So yes, Chris D, that was spot on a SPY poll today. It was a kind of a late afternoon. We were horsing around a little bit, and then all of a sudden, the market turned serious.
Yeah, let's look at it. I gotta see that again. That was crazy. Wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. That is nuts. That's like perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect stair step down. And this is over VWAP though. That's what's crazy about it. I think that's VWAP. No, VWAP is all the way to hell down here. That's the 55.
What time frame is that? What day?
This is today, and it's 1 minute time frame. That's interesting. Let's look at Tesla. Because they were
It looks different for some reason.
yeah, I thought it looked different than it did earlier.
Probably because I spread things out. See, now this looks like how Tesla ended the day.
You know what? Actually, hold on. I was in the. Let me go back to SPY real quick. Yeah, I was in the damn aftermarket. Look, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
So you see like in kind of in the middle of the day, there's that little Head and Shoulders.
Yes.
So I was diddling around up there.
Up here?
Yeah, initially I rode the double bottom all the way back up, and then I exited at VWAP, got back into it because it continued to go up, and then it got into that little channel up there where it was going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And by about the 3rd or 4th time, it had gone up to the top right there on the right, a little further to the right there. I'd gotten in 50, 50 out of the money puts, and then it just kept going down. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me.
It's crazy. I mean, that legit looks like a waterfall. There's hardly any pullback in there at all.
Yep. Yeah, after that last pull, it went down, kind of stayed down, and then it started to wash out, and then it just kept going.
So right here, right, when it starts doing this consolidation, did you get out in here?
I sold off after about the 3rd or 4th candle in there, where it kind of washed out a little bit. The last green with the hammer to the left.
Right here.
Yeah, I sold off into that one because it really didn't look like it was doing too much more. So I just figured I'd wait and see what it was going to do. And then I wound up flipping back into calls briefly to ride the bounce back the other direction because it looked like it was really starting to try to consolidate. But then then it started actually channeling up and to the right, off of that after the big red drop down.
Yeah.
Further to the left, and then it started channeling up to the right, and it was starting to look like a bearish flag where it would actually like continue to wash out again. But it came down
right here,
and instead of coming all the way back down to form a true double bottom, it actually formed support on what the other resistance was from the other bottoming formation. So it was a bullish side double bottom bounce. So a bullish side double bottom bounce usually means a bit of a run to the upside. So when it wouldn't go any lower, then as soon as we got confirmation to the upside, and it crossed over, then we were riding it back to the other side.
That is nuts.
And that was about 3 different scalps to that upside, because as soon as it started to pull back after about the 6th or 7th candle, Nate and I were talking about it, I'm like, I'm out. It pulled back, it stopped, and then once what looked like it found support there again. So I'm like, what the hell? Low risk, high reward. So I went back in, then it popped, consolidated, and it wound up kind of kept going on. So both Richard and myself were talking going into the end of the day that most likely, based on the pattern, and the fact that the indices had all 3 indices had kind of flattened out, that they would try to probably retake that 580 mark for a setup for tomorrow. And in order to do that, they would have to run, a couple bucks, $1, $2, $3 past it. So they were able to recapture about that 582 going into the bell, and then aftermarket, they pushed it up to 583-ish. So it looks like since there was really nothing after the fact, this afternoon that looked like it was going to keep it down. It looks like they're trying to hang on to that 580 price point for going into tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's just institutional repositioning.
Climbed a little bit in the aftermarket, but it's just like kind of stabilized here. It's just flat.
Yeah,
how's that for no volume?
Yeah, computers can keep it there easy.
Yeah, that's what that looks like. That's just like meticulously. It's like it's dropping again. That dropped a lot. How many points did that drop?
Well, if they're gonna, if institutions are
like percentage,
the more you watch it, the more you watch something, the more you get screen time, the more you kind of figure out institutions are trying to hang on to certain price proximity.
Yeah.
So if a stock's been down the better part of the day, if they leave it, if they basically want to kind of keep it around that 580 mark, if they let it close below 580, and there's some residual fear in the morning, it could go back down to 575, 573 or something, and it's going to be a lot more work to get it up there. So when things are a little bit thinner in power hour, and especially going into the end of the day, it's a lot easier for them to push the price back up, and try to reposition it $2-3 above. So even if it falls back in some normal trading where they just kind of leave it alone, chances are it might pull back a couple, $1 or $2 on its own, but they'll still be above that 580. So it's kind of theoretical at that point.
What the hell? What is going on down there? Y'all know that Dawn sucks with showing charts. Leave my friend alone. She doesn't see well. What is going on? It's her candles. Tall as hell. Shut up, Gilly. Yeah, somebody was like, look, Ralph, of course, is trying to instigate and make it worse than what it actually was.
Are they busting on you a little bit?
Uh-huh. Yep. What did I started looking at Google earlier too. Yeah, that had everything. What the hell happened here? Somebody was talking, I think they said, was on the news.
It was just some Fed bullshit,
Yeah.
so caused things to dip out. But I mean, it's not, since it's not like an actual interest rate adjustment or nothing. It was just, so what happens when the Fed is just kind of like bullshitting? Um, it throws the market out of whack temporarily, and then
Mm-hmm.
quite often it comes back, right? So it's kind of interesting. It pulled back from that price, and it pretty much regained all of it by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So the effect of the news kind of wore off.
Amazon deal.
But they can talk all they want because it opens up a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, big time. I noticed that Amazon and Google tend to do that. They tend to mirror each other a lot. Yep. But that was the day at hand, everybody. Palm F2, you guys got anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Nope.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah.
No, just always thanking you for sharing and doing the show, and thanks for Palm for always teaching something every time that
Every
I'm
time he
around
comes
you.
on, right?
Right.
That's my privilege. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part.
For sure. Thank you. And thank you for coming on here. And I know you're under the weather too. So that was really cool, and always offering advice and giving us insights on what to look for. Appreciate you, man.
Gotta pop in every once in a while. It seemed like it was gonna be a little light tonight.
Yeah. Yep. So
We need to come up with some little version of like Hollywood Squares. Like ask people questions and then they can give corny responses.
I like it. Did you see the watch party we had the other day when
No.
Coach was up here and all of that? Oh my God, we had like a full ass panel. It was like people couldn't even get in because the room was full. Wednesday on the day off.
Okay.
But yeah, we missed you.
I was driving at the time, so it's like I really couldn't take my eyes off the road.
Yeah, check the replay out on it. It was
Okay.
Wednesday when we were off, but yeah, it was fun. And then we did a replay Saturday. So yeah, we've been having a pretty good panel lately. So I expected it to be light at some point.
Yeah.
But yep. Well, you feel better.
Thanks.
And,
Colds take forever, right?
And don't
Colds
forget
just
the lemon
suck.
and ginger.
I swear I'm gonna go get some fresh lemons now that you said that, because mine are starting to get a little mushy. So
yeah, let me know how it works for you.
How long do you squeeze the lemons in, or just the lemon zest, or what?
You know what I do? I take the lemon and separate it from the peel and just put that filling in the water.
The pulp part, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Throw that in there.
Chop up some ginger, maybe like dice it and put like a little clump, like 6 or 7 little pieces of that, and let it sit for like 2 hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And drink that down, and like do a couple of them. That way you're drinking it for a few hours. You know what I mean? Or like a whole day of it. Guarantee you're gonna feel a lot better.
I can't wait to try that. I never even thought of it.
Yep. So have a good night. Get some rest.
Thanks so
F2.
much.
Yeah, man. Thank you. F2, have a great night, brother. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Gilly. Yep. Definitely, always.
Hey, F2. Next time we catch up, it's like my mouth was running half the time, but I want to hear how you're doing with the spaghetti works with the EMAs and stuff. You said you're starting to use those more. See, I'd like to hear what you have to say as far as what you're seeing.
All right. I just use it like when I'm using the 2-minute EWO. It's just a strong point of staying in there longer with it, and to monetize as much profit as I can with it. That's what I say. And when they start crossing each other, I know it's a time to either get ready to get in, or when they start going to the downside, I see it as a faster way of getting out before I lose. I can control how much I lose and stuff on it a lot easier.
Perfect.
Awesome. Good for you. Glad
I think,
that's working out.
yeah, hopefully it helps you stay in trades a little longer, make some more money.
Nothing wrong with that. And with
All
that
right.
being said, everybody, Gilly, Bucko, Jen, Maria, all you guys, DJ Vinny down there, thank you guys. All of you that I see down there in the chat, have a fantastic night. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, American Dream Trading is pinned right to the top, and use code 2025. Get 25% off of any first-time membership purchase of any of our services. All right. Again, the tip jar is down there. If you guys felt like we had a good show tonight, throw a couple dollars in there. Palms is over there on the on our Discord. Feel free to hit his off as well, because we always enjoy him being here. I'm gonna end with Coach's rules, and if I can find them, there they are. Peace and blessings, y'all. Have a good night.
We provide more free education than any other stock market company, training company has ever released. Please follow the rules. Nobody go rogue. Some of the rules that we have to and live and die by in here is do not lose more than 1 to 3% of your total account value in any given day. Make sure you have stop losses on each and every trade, regardless of shares and or options. Make sure you guys are practicing small base hits. Don't go for home runs. Allow the runners to run and stop out the losers. If you're a new trader, make sure you are paper trading using a simulated trading system such as Webull or some of the other ones that are out there. If you are an expert trader, please make sure you also are being careful the first 3 minutes and the last 8 to 9 minutes of the day. Those are the absolute most volatile times in the entire market. Also, if you're a newer trader, please don't trade in the first 30 minutes or the last hour of the day. Those are the most dangerous times.